This NBA season has been one of the best in recent memory and arguably the best since 2016. From having parity across the league, record-breaking moments, an unbelievable trade deadline where we saw a championship contender blow up their team, historic individual performances, a possible 3 straight MVPs for only the 3rd time in NBA history, an awesome, super fun, cool All-Star game, and of course an insane stretch headed into the playoffs where it seems as though every team has a chance to jump up 5 spots in the standings every single night. With the way that the regular season has gone, it must mean that the playoffs are going to be insane. It seems like we don't know any of the matchups until the last day of the regular season, but we are in store for some incredible storylines and matchups in the playoffs. I want to take a look and see what are some of the best possible playoff series that we can get, and if it follows the trend of the regular season, this can be one of the greatest postseasons of all time. In my opinion, this would be the best possible matchup in this year's playoffs if everyone's healthy. KD and the Suns versus Curry and the defending champion Warriors. This would be like OKC versus Golden State all over again from 2016, but this time KD has the best team around him. It would be Klay versus Booker, CP3 versus Steph, KD versus Draymond. This would also be Durant's first chance to play at Chase Center since he left the Warriors in 2019, and so much has happened since. I honestly think that this series would be a coin flip. The Suns haven't had much time to mesh, and the Warriors have been so bad on the road that you think that they would need home court to win this series in 7. But I would take the Suns in the end if they're healthy. We got a sneak peek at what a possible playoff series would look like between these two teams just last week. Lots of scoring and the stars showing up to play. It would be Russ versus Steph, Kawhi versus Draymond, Klay versus PG. Maybe not PG anymore. This series would be filled with superstars for a full 7-game series, and I'm all for it. To defend their championship, the Warriors would have to go through one of the favorites to win the championship this year. The Clippers would have a lot of pressure on them since in the Kawhi and PG era, they've only made one Western Conference Finals. I would take the Clippers in this series since they're much deeper than the Dubs, and once again the Warriors haven't proven that they can consistently win on the road, which would most likely be needed in this series if the Clippers were the higher seed. Besides the Phoenix versus Golden State matchup, this matchup would be the one that I'd look forward to the most due to all of the storylines in the series. This matchup would be storybook-like after what we saw last year in the playoffs when Luka and the Mavs murdered the Suns in Game 7. KD and Kyrie playing against each other in a full playoff series after they each demanded a trade from the Nets. And don't forget the Booker versus Luka matchup either. They've made it known that they absolutely hate each other game after game. This series would be full of great storylines from the hatred that each team has for one another and their history against each other in the playoffs. I would take a healthy Suns team in this series since the Mavs have struggled since making the trade for Kyrie, and I think it would be nearly impossible to guard Booker and KD for the whole series. But I mean, you could also say the same thing about Kyrie and Luka. But I mean, the team around the Suns is just better. This is the only real Eastern Conference playoff matchup that I would be excited for. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe Celtics Sixers, Bucks Sixers would be kind of cool. This would be a rematch from the incredible Round 2 series from last year, where the Celtics battled back from down 3-2 to win the series and stop the Bucks from repeating. They would meet in the conference finals as the 1 and 2 seed respectively. It would be JT and JB versus Giannis, Holiday, and Middleton. This time around, the Bucks would be fully healthy with Middleton, since he missed the whole series last year after getting injured against the Bulls in the first round. This will be a matchup of two teams that will be battling each other in the Eastern Conference for the rest of the decade, as the Celtics are on the hunt to make it back to the finals, and the Bucks are chasing for their second championship in 3 years. I would probably take the Bucks in this series. Giannis is just too unstoppable, especially when he has a healthy team around him. The Celtics have fallen off a bit since the start of the season, and the series would definitely go 7 games, and I got the Bucks. These are obviously dream playoff scenarios with 3 of possible 4 matchups being in the first round of the playoffs, since in all honesty it is too difficult to predict what will happen in the West. In the next few weeks, there will be plenty of movement in the standings, and the Lakers may just join in on the playoff race and add some possible great matchups. All we can hope for now is that every team is healthy headed into the postseason, and will be guaranteed some great basketball.